One act of kindness. That's all it took to destroy Ethan Walker's life. Or so he thought. The morning he stopped for that pregnant woman on the side of the road, he had no idea what he was giving up. His dream job. His one shot at saving his daughter from the life they'd been barely surviving. Gone. All of it. Because he chose to be a good man when the world rewarded people who looked the other way. But Ethan didn't know who she was. He didn't know that the stranger he helped, soaked and stranded in that storm, held more power than he could imagine. And he definitely didn't know that missing that interview would lead him somewhere he never expected. Somewhere that would change everything. Because sometimes the worst decision you ever make turns out to be the best thing that ever happened to you. Before we continue, let us know in the comment section where in the world you're tuning in from. We love seeing how far our stories reach. And if this story speaks to you, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Ethan's hands were shaking as he gripped the steering wheel. The rain came down in sheets, turning the highway into a blur of gray and red taillights. He glanced at the clock on the dashboard. 8:47 a.m. 13 minutes. That's all he had to make it to Tech Smith Enterprises. 13 minutes to change his life. His phone sat in the cup holder, screen dark, but he could still see Emma's good luck text from earlier. "You got this, Daddy." With 3 heart emojis, because she always sent 3. Never 2, never 4, always 3. God, he couldn't let her down. Not again. The apartment they lived in had mold in the corners. Emma pretended not to notice, but Ethan saw how she avoided putting her stuffed animals near the walls. She was 7 years old and already making compromises because her father couldn't provide better. The thought made his stomach turn. This job, project manager at Tech Smith, it was everything. Good salary, health insurance, stability. The kind of position that would let him breathe for the first time since Sarah died. Since the medical bills. Since the world fell apart and left him scrambling to hold the pieces together with duct tape and hope. He pressed harder on the gas pedal. The wipers worked overtime, squeaking against the windshield. 8 minutes now. Then he saw her. A woman stood next to a silver sedan on the shoulder. Hood popped open, steam rising into the rain like a distress signal. She was drenched, her coat plastered to her body. And even from a distance, Ethan could see the curve of her pregnant belly. His foot hovered over the gas pedal. "Keep going. You can't stop. You don't have time." But she looked so helpless out there. One hand on her car, the other cradling her stomach. Alone, vulnerable. Ethan's eyes flicked between the road ahead and his rearview mirror. The woman grew smaller in the reflection. He was past her now. Safe. On track. Then Sarah's voice whispered in his head. Soft and clear like she was sitting right next to him. "Who are you when it costs you something, Ethan?" No, he muttered. But his foot was already hitting the brake. The car slowed. His heart hammered. "What are you doing? This is insane. You're going to throw everything away." But he was already pulling onto the shoulder, already throwing the car in reverse. The tires crunched on gravel as he backed up to where she stood. He rolled down the window. Cold rain hit his face immediately. "Hey, are you okay?" he called out. The woman turned, and Ethan's chest tightened. She looked exhausted, her dark hair stuck to her cheeks, mascara smudged under her eyes. But it was the fear in her expression that got him. The kind of fear that said she'd been standing there too long, watching car after car pass her by. "My car died," she said, her voice barely audible over the rain. "I have a prenatal appointment in 20 minutes. High-risk pregnancy. I can't miss it." Ethan looked at his clock. 8:51. 7 minutes. He should say something. Offer to call a tow truck, maybe. Roadside assistance. Something that didn't involve him getting out of this car and sacrificing everything he'd worked toward. Please, she added, and that one word broke him. Get in, Ethan said. She didn't hesitate. The passenger door opened and she slid inside, dripping water onto his already worn seat covers. She was shivering. Thank you, she breathed out. Thank you so much. I've been standing there for 15 minutes. Everyone kept driving past. Ethan pulled back onto the highway, his mind racing faster than the speedometer. He could still make it. Maybe. If he drove fast enough, if the traffic cooperated, if the universe decided to throw him one single break. Where's your appointment? He asked. Memorial Medical Center. It's about 10 minutes from here. She glanced at him, studying his face. You're in a hurry. I can tell. I'm sorry. Don't apologize, Ethan said, though his jaw was tight. You need help. It's fine. It wasn't fine. It was the opposite of fine. But what was he supposed to do? Leave a pregnant woman stranded in a storm? I'm Lila, by the way, she said quietly. Ethan. They drove in silence for a moment. Just the sound of rain and windshield wipers and Ethan's racing thoughts. He could feel Lila watching him from the corner of his eye. You have kind eyes, she said suddenly. That probably sounds weird, but it's true. Most people wouldn't have stopped. Ethan's grip on the wheel tightened. Yeah, well, most people are smarter than me. What do you mean? He shouldn't say it. Shouldn't burden a stranger with his problems. But the words came out anyway, bitter and tired. I have a job interview. Had a job interview at 9 a.m. I'm not going to make it now. The silence that followed felt heavy. Lila's hand went to her mouth. Oh my God, she whispered. Ethan, I'm so sorry. You can drop me at the next exit. I'll figure something out. No. The word came out firmer than he intended. No, I'm taking you to your appointment. It's fine. But your interview is already ruined. He tried to smile, but it felt wrong on his face. At least this way, I ruined it for a good reason. Lila was quiet for a long moment. When she finally spoke, her voice was soft. Tell me about the job. Does it matter? Humor me. Ethan sighed. Why not? It's not like he had anything left to lose. Project manager position at TechSmith Enterprises. It's a big tech company downtown. Good salary, benefits, the whole package. I've been unemployed for 8 months. This was my first real callback. You have kids? A daughter, Emma, she's 7. Just saying her name made his chest ache. I'm a single dad. Her mom, my wife, passed away a little over a year ago. I'm so sorry. Yeah, me too. Ethan's voice cracked slightly. Emma deserves better than what I've been able to give her. That job was supposed to fix things, or at least start to. Lila turned to look out the window, her hand still resting on her belly. I chose this, she said after a moment. Being a single mom. No partner, no co-parent. Just me and this little one. People think I'm crazy. Are you? She laughed, but it sounded sad. Maybe. Probably. But I couldn't wait anymore, you know? For the right person, the right time. Life doesn't wait for you to be ready. No. Ethan agreed quietly. It really doesn't. They pulled into the medical center parking lot at 9:03. 3 minutes late. Ethan's interview was happening right now, without him. Someone else was sitting in that chair, shaking hands, making a good impression, living the future that should have been his. Thank you, Lila said, her hand on the door handle. Really? You saved me today. Don't mention it. She hesitated, then reached into her purse and pulled out a business card. Take this. If there's ever anything I can do, anything at all, please call me. Ethan took the card without looking at it and stuffed it in his pocket. What was some stranger going to do for him? But he nodded anyway. Good luck with your appointment. Good luck with your daughter. Then she was gone, hurrying through the rain toward the entrance. Ethan sat there for a moment, engine idling, staring at nothing. What had he done? He pulled out his phone. 3 missed calls from Tex Smith's HR department. 2 voicemails. His thumb hovered over the call button, but what was the point? They weren't going to reschedule for someone who didn't show up. That's not how the world worked. Still, he had to try. He dialed. Tex Smith Enterprises. How may I direct your call? Hi, this is Ethan Walker. I had a 9 a.m. interview for the project manager position. I know I missed it, but I had an emergency. Please hold. The hold music was some generic corporate jazz that made Ethan want to punch something. He waited. 1 minute, 2 minutes, 3. Finally. Mr. Walker? Yes, I'm here. I'm afraid the interview panel has already left for their next meeting. We can't reschedule at this time. We'll keep your resume on file should another position. Please. The desperation in his own voice embarrassed him. Please, I just need 10 minutes. 5 minutes. I can be there in 20 if... I'm sorry, Mr. Walker. Company policy. Have a good day. Click. Ethan stared at his phone, the rejection settling into his bones like the cold rain outside. That was it. Over. Done. He drove home in a daze, the windshield wipers keeping rhythm with his spiraling thoughts. Emma was at school. The apartment would be empty. He'd have hours to sit there and marinate in what he'd just done, and how spectacularly he'd failed. The rain had finally stopped by the time he pulled into his parking spot. The sun was trying to break through the clouds, which felt like an insult. The universe mocking him. He climbed the stairs to the 3rd floor, each step heavier than the last. Inside the apartment, Emma's drawings covered every available wall space. Princesses and dragons and stick figure families. In every single one, she drew him with a smile. Like he was some kind of hero. He wasn't a hero, he was an idiot who'd thrown away their future for a stranger. Ethan collapsed onto the couch and pulled out the business card Lila had given him. He'd forgotten about it until now. Maybe he could... He looked at the card. Really looked at it. Lila Harris, Chief Executive Officer, Tex Smith Enterprises. The room tilted. Ethan read it again. And again. CEO. She was the CEO. The pregnant woman he'd helped. The stranger he'd sacrificed everything for. She ran the entire company. His phone buzzed. Unknown number. With shaking hands, he answered. Hello? Mr. Walker? This is Jennifer from Tex Smith HR. I apologize for the earlier call. There's been a development regarding your interview. Ms. Harris would like to meet with you personally tomorrow morning at 9 a.m. Does that work for your schedule? Ethan couldn't breathe. Couldn't think. Mr. Walker, are you there? Yes, he managed. Yes, that works. Excellent. Ms. Harris is looking forward to it. The call ended. Ethan sat there, staring at the business card in his hand, his mind reeling. What the hell just happened? Ethan didn't sleep that night. He lay in bed, staring at the ceiling, replaying every moment from the highway. Every word he'd said to Lila, every complaint about his life, every detail about Emma, every desperate confession about how badly he needed that job. She'd known. The entire time, she'd known exactly who he was supposed to interview with. and she'd said nothing. Why? At 6 a.m. he gave up on sleep and dragged himself to the shower. Emma was already awake when he emerged, sitting at their small kitchen table with a bowl of cereal, kicking her legs. "Big day, Daddy?" she asked, milk dribbling down her chin. "Yeah, baby, big day. You're going to be amazing." She said it with such confidence, such absolute certainty that Ethan's throat tightened. "How do you know?" Emma shrugged, spooning more cereal into her mouth. "Because you're you. That's how." If only the world worked that way. If only being a good person was enough. He dropped Emma at school and drove downtown, his stomach a knot of anxiety. TechSmith Enterprises occupied 15 floors of a glass tower that reflected the morning sun like a beacon. Ethan had looked up at this building yesterday from the parking lot, defeated. Today, he was walking through the front doors. The lobby was all marble and steel, the kind of pristine corporate minimalism that screamed money. The security guard directed him to the elevator. 15th floor. Ms. Harris is expecting you. The elevator ride felt like ascending into another world. Each floor that passed took him further from the life he knew, the cramped apartment, the overdue bills, the constant fear of not being enough. The doors opened to reveal a reception area that could have been in a magazine. Floor-to-ceiling windows overlooked the entire city. A young woman at the desk smiled at him. "Mr. Walker, go right in. Ms. Harris is ready for you." Ethan's hands were sweating. He wiped them on his pants and approached the double doors at the end of the hall. Through the glass panels, he could see Lila sitting at an enormous desk, typing on her computer. She looked different. Yesterday, she'd been vulnerable, rain-soaked, desperate. Today, she wore a tailored navy suit, her hair pulled back, every inch the powerful executive. But when she looked up and saw him, her expression softened. "Ethan, come in." He stepped inside, and the doors closed behind him with a soft click. The office was massive, bigger than his entire apartment. One wall was all windows. The other was lined with awards, framed articles, photos of Lila shaking hands with people Ethan recognized from the news. "Sit, please." Lila gestured to the chair across from her desk. Ethan sat. His mouth was dry. "I imagine you have questions," Lila said. "A few hundred." She smiled slightly. "I owe you an explanation. Yesterday, when you stopped, was when you helped me. I wasn't trying to deceive you.